Chivalry 1 in 2024, 12 years later. I remember having a lot of fun with this game back in the day. When it came out on console back in 2016, it was one of my most played games at the time. I have a lot of nostalgic feeling for it. Sadly, in 2024, it's dead. Chivalry is dead. It's been dead on console for a long time, but it was alive on PC for many, many years. But as soon as Chivalry 2 came out, the game died off pretty quickly, and now it's almost completely dead. I say almost because there is still one server that's still running. It's a team objective server that people still play on, but for me, it's unplayable because I live in the United States, the server is EU. Usually I'm able to connect to European servers just fine when it comes to other games, but for this server in particular, my ping is 150, and for a real-time combat game like this game, it doesn't work. You can't have a ping that high and have a good time. You can tell by the gameplay that it's choppy because, yeah, you're lagging all over the place, and your movement and your strikes are not precise, and that's something you really need to have in order to enjoy the game. So, yeah, there are people that do still play. The server is never full. You know, this game does support 64-player servers, but the most you'll get is 15 or 16, and that's it. So even when you can find people, there's not enough to really get the full Chivalry 1 experience anymore in 2024, which definitely sucks because it's a game that I hold in very high regard, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too. Chivalry 2 is a great game, though, and so is Mordhau, so it's not like you don't have any options as far as medieval combat games. I mean, I guess there's also For Honor, which is a lot more popular, but this, I think that the whole medieval slasher plays so much better in first person, because it's just so much more immersive, and I like it better than the third person gameplay that For Honor has. That's just a personal preference, though. But I would say, yeah, stick with Chivalry 2 or Mordhau. It's funny because I thought that this game, back in its day, was like one of the most best looking games ever, and the gameplay was so just beyond anything else I experienced before. But then when you play Chivalry 2 and go back to Chivalry 1, it's like, holy shit. Chivalry 2 is just so much better in every single way imaginable, which is a good thing. You want the sequel to be better, and you want to, like, you don't want a Payday 3 situation, right? Where everyone's just going back to the last game. That's not a good thing. Like, what we have right now with the Chivalry series is actually a very healthy thing going on. And it sucks, though, that you can't find at least one populated server, especially if you're an American. If you're a European, you could probably get some, you know, you'll have a much better experience because you won't be lagging all over the place. I don't know what it is. Why is it always EU servers that are more populated with these old games? It's never North American. I guess Europeans care a lot more about game preservation. I don't know. But yeah, I live in the East Coast, so if you live further away, then you'll have an even worse experience with the game. The game is barely playable, but it's not really playable. It's pretty much unplayable for me, so it will be for you. It must be somewhere in Eastern Europe because, I mean, there are Eastern European countries in the EU. Just because it says in the EU server, it could be anywhere there, so we don't know exactly where it is. But I guess if you're like in the Middle East, because that's close enough to Eastern Europe, you'll probably have a decent, stable connection. But still, I think the community is so small, it's probably not worth playing for anybody. It's sad, but true.